Okay, guys. I'm sending you a video now to give you an update long after the event. But I think the last time you heard from me, I was getting sick. Man, I cannot tell you what happened. I literally can't tell you, but it was the worst. It was absolutely the worst. Um, I would not wish it on hardly anybody at all. Not even most of the worst people on the planet. I'm still smiling though. But anyway, I thought I'd give you an update. The sealant that I put on the tin roof that I'm still fighting because I put it on wrong. Um, the sealant just stopped working, and it's because I used a bead. You know, it was the like the caulk gun kind of thing. Good product. I just it was used minimally, and it just came right off. And so I got this message saying like because I have a weather app and it notifies me, and it said light rain expected in the next 5 minutes. I was like, cool. Well, then this happened. So as you can see, that wasn't exactly light rain. It began to pour. Okay, so let me give you a little background. I got sick Tuesday night. Stomach flu, bad. And then Wednesday night, bad. Thursday night, okay, really, really bad. And that's when this happened. This happened Thursday night. I was doubled over in pain, and I was cursing, cursing the air. I just couldn't function. I felt like somebody had shoved a Nerf football down my intestine, and nothing was happening, if you know what I mean. And it was just extraordinarily painful. My pulse was up. I was not getting any sleep. I have restless leg syndrome, so it was making it worse. It was about 2 o'clock. I barely faded off, and then I maybe got 15 minutes in to what I consider possibly sleep about 3 o'clock. And I know it was 3 o'clock because when I woke up, I looked at the clock. But the reason I woke up is that I felt a drop splash on my head. And man, I got up and I was like, no, because it was raining hard. So much for light rain. I mean, it was downpouring, torrential. And I have a ceiling. And it was right there. And it came down to right there. And it came right out of that hole right up there. And it landed on my little desk here and splattered on my head, and it was running down the wall. And by the time I turned the light on, it was literally going plop, 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 plop. I was like, no, because it was 37 degrees outside, and it was raining like hell, and it was 3 o'clock in the morning, and I was sick, and it was pouring down rain and dripping really, really hard in my cabin where I sleep, exactly where I sleep in my cabin. And it just, so long story short, is the bead that I had put up there rubbed off. It just came off, it came off. So that was a bad plan. Don't do a bead. All right, don't use the bead products. They don't work if you have a major, on tin roof anyway. Don't use it on a tin roof. All right, so story continues. Man, I had to get up, cursing. I had to take that thing apart up there, and I took, the insulation out, and it was pouring down. I mean, just water everywhere, and I'm going, no. I felt like Luke Skywalker. No, it's not true. I was just like so mad. It was screaming. I was like, what do I do? Calm down, breathe. I was panicking, man. And I was like, okay, what do I do? And so I stuffed a whole bunch of towels up there, just enough to keep it from pouring down in here. I got dressed real fast, and I took care of that. I said, now what? Now what? Now what? What do I do? What do I do? Well, shit, I don't have enough bead left, and it's not going to work anyway. What do I do? Shit, tarp. What kind of tarp do I have? Oh my God, I have this gigantic tarp. It'll cover my whole freaking thing if I can get up there. And so I got dressed more. I put on, really cold weather gear. And remember, I'm sick as hell, and I'm in pain, kind of sick, and I have to go take care of this. And so I run across the property. I grab this gigantic tarp in the pouring rain through the mud, and I position the ladder where I need to put it, and I get up there, and I throw the tarp. It's folded, luckily, because it's about 40 pounds. It's really heavy, and not 40 pounds. What am I saying? About 15 pounds, and it's really, really heavy. So I get up there and I throw it on top, and I was like, crap, and I'm standing on top of this roof, and I've got a flashlight on my head, the headlamp, covered in this towel because it's pouring down rain and it's cold and I'm screaming. And so I put the tarp up the tarp. I spread the tarp out best I can. Bear in mind, it's raining, pouring down rain. It's dark. I can't hardly see shit. And so I'm up there for, I don't know, 5 minutes, trying not to fall down. And I spread it out best I can, but I can't tell where the center is. I don't know where the center of the tarp is. I don't know where it opens. I got to do this fast. So I rolled it out, and most of it fell off the side of the building over here, which ordinarily would be okay, except I have a tin roof with really sharp edges, and when you pull that thing, it rips it. I was like, oh my God! But there was just enough left to spread across to the other side. So I got down. I said, now what do I do? Shit, because it's not gonna stay. Oh, by the way, it was really windy. I mean, blowing hard. And so I was sitting there holding this thing with on the ladder, on the roof, holding this thing, and I was trying to keep it from blowing in the wind. And because I know that if I let go, the wind's blowing the direction that would knock it entirely off the building. And if it did that, it would land in the mud. And I'd have to freaking figure out how to get this 15-pound tarp back up the ladder in the rain while I'm freezing. And I realized something. I didn't have gloves on because I wasn't thinking about gloves. My hands were frozen solid, man. I couldn't feel the tarp anymore. So I get off again, I'm holding the tarp up there on the side of the cabin. And I was like, okay, well, what do? I ran down there real fast, and when the wind stopped, I ran down there and got some like walking stones, and I put one up there. Okay, that was enough. So I put 2 or 3 more up there. It's like, okay, God dang. So I went back inside. My heart beats like boom, 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 because I'm sick, and I'm pissed, and I'm stressed, So I sat down for a minute. I was like, okay, I hope it holds. And then I heard, what that means is that one of them was sliding across. I was like, no shit. I had to go put more up there. So I went to this side over here, and I took the other ladder and I leaned it against the tarp that was falling off. I literally leaned it against like the wall and against the tarp so it wouldn't fall. And then I went to that side, put a few more stones up, and then I came back inside and I said, okay, I think that's going to hold. Well, long story short is it finally did. But the wind was blowing like hell. And I was like, man, I just hope this thing holds. I just hope this thing holds, because if it doesn't, I'm effed, And if I hadn't had sorry about that. If I hadn't had the tarp, I frankly would have been effed too. But, so I went back inside, and by then it was 4:30-ish, something like that. It was 37 degrees outside. And man, I checked my pulse, and it was 100, and the high level when I was up out there, I looked at the history because I wear an Apple Watch. It was 150, 140, something like that. Ridiculous. Look, I'm a really healthy guy. My normal pulse is 60 to 70, just walking. That's my walking pulse. And so, I got back inside, and I got dressed for bed, and I laid down, and it's storming, and I'm stressed, and I get, my pulse is just going thump, 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 thump. I checked it. It was like 100 and something. And I'm like, I've got bad gastro issues, okay? Bad. I don't even want to tell you. I don't want to tell you. I don't even want to tell you that, because then you'd have to figure out what I dealt with later. But needless to say, I didn't go sleep that night, and I had to wake up the next morning and go to work. I had a job to do. Yeah. So I had to wake up 2 o'clock that afternoon. I had to go to work again. I never slept. I never went to sleep. So, on top of that, when I got back, I got stuck in the mud. Isn't that cool? Well, let me back up a little bit. Before I went to that job, remember, I had bad problems. I was sick all night. I was up peeing like, I don't know, like, I must have peed like 20 times. My body was just squeezing out water, you know? And besides, I couldn't eat solids. But at any rate, I woke up the next morning, and not to be gross or nothing, but I had to empty the bladder over here in my toilet area, and that urinal bladder had overflowed. I came home, and I thought I took care of it, but I came home after my job, and man, this room smelled like a horse's ass. I don't know how else to say it. It was bad. And I hadn't slept, and I'm still sick. I don't know what to do. And oh my gosh, I'm just going to tell you that was literally getting stuck in the mud too. My neighbor had to come over here and help me out. Literally, guys, one of the worst days of my life. And this is one of the worst sicknesses I've had. Like, I'm not going to be able to start CDL school for another week because I'm finally better, but my pulse is still up to 90 and 100. I can finally eat rice, which is cool. But yeah, I got to wait another week. So, I mean, like, literally, this is the worst sickness I've had, and I can't even tell you how long. And it just okay, there's no real moral of the story. I thought it was a cool story. You might want to know what's going on with me. You might also want to know that when you put a roof together, a tin roof, there are certain mistakes you don't want to make. Review my previous videos so you know what those mistakes were. I kind of walk you through it. Today, I went up there and I bought a product that was really goopy, thick, clear stuff, and it was intended to do what needed to be done. And I used a brush, and I painted that goop on every single seam, particularly the offending seams, and peeled off, which is the mistake I made before, is not peeling those off. I peeled off any of the loose sealant crap that I put up there before. And I also got a sealant tape that's a really thick aluminum type foam expanding tape that I can put over it. I'm just going to tell you, man, I ain't taking no more risks. I'm going to put another tarp up there for the next rain unless this stuff's dry. I don't know that I don't want to take a chance, man, you know. But at any rate, you live and learn. And like I said, don't leave me comments on how to do a tin roof. I mean, I learned, okay? I know how to do it. The tin roof on my kitchen's fine. No problems at all. It's just, this was my first roof, and I had to learn, you know, what not to do. And I learned all those things. So additionally, every time I get up there, it disrupts the seams. So you get the idea. I think everything's cool now, and I'm feeling much better, so don't worry about me. But you know, when an old Marine gets sick and pissed off, it is not a place you want to be. So anyway, that's the update, guys. Maybe tomorrow I'll throw a video of the roof as it is so I can show you the product. Okay, that's all. Addendum. This wasn't Thursday night that this happened. This was Friday night. and I had the job Saturday morning. Yeah, the days have mixed together. That's all. I didn't sleep for, nearly 48 hours. So, but last night I did. So anyway, that was my update. Well, I almost forgot to show you this. It's toward the end of the day. We got the tarp on because it hasn't dried yet. What I'm gonna do is show you the product that I put in there. All right, I pulled the tarp back a little bit. You can see that I kind of slathered it on really thick. Okay, it's all the way down, all the way up. I did that on every single, every single connecting point. Because again, I didn't do this correct. But there's small areas like this tiny little area here that's not, sealed, and water will find its way into anything. I don't fully trust it yet. And it's gonna be raining here soon, and I'm still a little bit sick, so I just don't want to deal with it. The real test would be a stress test of throwing buckets of water over top of it. So you essentially remove the tarp, of course, and then underneath you go to the trouble of removing all the panels, and you pick sections. You throw water over that section right there and let it run down and see if there's any leaks, and then just repeat the process all the way down. Very time consuming, and I don't got patience time, and I don't have enough F's to give right now. So I just want to put a tarp on it and be done with it, not deal with it right now. So again, you learn from my mistakes, and the roof over there is great, man. Not a thing wrong with it. Not a thing wrong with it. I learned how to do it right. So you learn from my mistakes, and that's what I hope you'll get out of this. So thank you for attending yet another personalized video. This is a kind of an historical documentation of what I'm trying to accomplish here. I'm hoping my kids, grandkids, maybe even further down the line, one day we'll find use of these, and because this is all going to be farmland. It's all going to be farmland, and they'll get to see, hey, this is how Grandpa or whatever, this is how Grandpa put it together, So that's what this is for. But I appreciate you attending and joining me on this trip. All right, like, share, please hit the subscribe button or whatever. And if you're using my personal channel, I need to make a note of this. I want you to go instead to Phoenix Rising Homestead. Go to Phoenix Rising Homestead. I'm simply converting the videos over to that channel, and I just would like to see that one grow instead of my personal on a playlist. Okay, well, thank you so much, and I'll talk to you later.